I was a little too quick to discount Calvin. He's going for it. Oh, yeah.
And he's got it.
Who was that clown? What's happening, guys? Cody here with Flight Numbers Talk, where we talk pro disc golf and let the flight numbers talk. Waco was an absolute success. I was there live in person, and it was actually one of the most fun things I've done in a while. If you've never been to an event before, I highly recommend it, but I'll get more into my excursion later, as this week's a little different. This week we have MVP's Open at Austin, taking place at 2 different courses, both located in Austin, Texas. They will be playing at Sprinkle Valley Disc Golf Course and Harvey Penick Golf Campus. May 7th through the 10th, a Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus event, so 4 rounds compared to the typical 3. We are skipping the flyovers this week since there's 2 courses. I just thought that would take a while, so we're going to break it down quickly now. These courses are actually quite opposite of each other. Sprinkle Valley, being played on Thursday, Friday, is a tightly wooded, more technical course, while Harvey Penick is more of a bomber's course, as it's being played on a former ball golf course. This unique difference shows to me that the keys to success this week will be the best all-around golfer will win. So in early keys this week, good scramble percentage plus distance will matter, but I think you'll need a little bit of everything to succeed at both courses. If you've got a winning prediction not named Gannon Buhr this week, we are still doing the giveaway. If you can correctly predict the winner and their exact score, I will send you a free disc. Rules are you must like and subscribe, and of course, no picking Gannon. This past weekend in Waco, someone was actually close to winning the giveaway, but it was Emerson Keith spoiling the party. Emerson was a real long shot in my eyes, so if anyone commented, I would have ignored the score and would have bought them a disc anyway. So that's a new rule. If you pick a real long shot and they win it and I approve of it in the replies, I will send you a disc regardless of the score. We'll just use the score as a tiebreaker if, say, 2 people pick the same long shot. More reasons to guess the random golfers you think could break out. Shoot your shot. Good luck. Back to Waco. Jomez Pro, for some reason, was only filming the lead card of each day, so we only have that footage to work with. But like I said, I was there in person, so I actually got some shots that nobody else has seen. So let's go ahead and hop straight into it. My recap for the 2026 Waco. Round 1 was exactly what you'd expect from Texas in May. Muddy, cold, and depressing. Joking, obviously. I found myself in Waco following Big Jerem, who was the perfect guide for my first DGPT event. He was talking with fans and had some nice throws, including this turnover forehand on hole 10. It began to rain as the lead card was warming up, and although it was ugly, the fun began as Calvin birdied the first. My pick to win it led after day 1, shooting 9 under, and I had some really cool experiences of it, including this throw of his on hole 6 from behind the basket. It was super cool to watch these guys do what they do live, especially on shots like this, where Zach really just rides the natural line of the course. Zach ended up finishing this tournament tied for 23rd. Another cool shot I got from day 1 was Ezra Robinson on the 18th. Why they aren't recording these guys on shots like this feels like a big missed opportunity. We'll talk more on Isaac later, but day 2 we actually followed Isaac's group, which also included Kansas City Wide Open winner Cole Redolin, Raven Newsom, and Jesse Nieminen. And I say we, I actually brought a friend on Saturday who is getting into the sport. He had a great time proving you don't need to fully know the pros to have fun at these events. Here we are supporting the FPO. But day 2 actually had lots of action during the lead card. Connor O'Reilly started us off almost acing the first. And then on the 4th, here is Niklas Anttila making a putt from one knee. It was beginning to look like Niklas's tournament as he was throwing beautiful lines, including this turnover backhand up the hill of the 5th, but it wasn't a one-man show at all. Evan Scott started off his round 2 with 10 straight birdies, including this putt from way below. It wasn't until this blunder on the 11th did the streak end. We'll talk more on Evan later. After we had some good basket hits, starting with Niklas on the 11th, and then here we have Connor O'Reilly early on the 12th. Niklas was online with one here on the 14th, but the branch knocked it down. I'll let y'all decide whether it helped or not. And here he is parking the 18th to take the lead going into the final day. But there was word going around that someone shot a tourney best 14 under round 2 that I didn't get to see at all. And that was Emerson Keith. For the last day, you couldn't miss Emerson, as he and his caddy were both wearing this hangover baby shirt. It seemed as if the Texas golf gods were on Emerson's side, as he kept floating to the top of the leaderboard despite some scary moments. Overall, he was playing well though, including parking the 8th, but outside of Emerson, my horse prediction Paul Kranz had this good putt. He ended up finishing tied for 2nd. And I also got to record Calvin making this eagle on the 16th. But Emerson Keith wouldn't go down. He kept scrambling through the round, and fortune seemed to favor him, with this disc dropping being the perfect example. Keith had a 1-stroke lead going into the 17th, but luckily for him, Anttila bogeyed the 17th and 18th. This throw looked left than right, but ended in the fairway. So with a 2-stroke lead going into 18, he decided to lay up, went over the water, laid up again, and made bogey, making your winner of the 2026 Waco, Emerson Keith.
Yeah, gonna do out here.
Your 2026 Waco Annual Charity Open champion, Emerson Keith!
What a moment.
Yeah, that's amazing. Remarkable tournament from Emerson.
But now we're headed south for the Open at Austin, and I want to start by taking a look at the top 10. These are our top 10 on the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings, starting out with Gannon Buhr. World number 1 took a week off this past weekend. He's currently averaging a finish of a 1.83 with 3 wins this season already. Gannon has finished 3rd here in 2025, tied for 4th in 2024, and won it back in 2023. He's currently averaging a birdie percentage of 49.85%, meaning he has almost birdied half the holes he has played. Just an absurd stat from the best in the world. In the 2nd spot is Ricky Wysocki. Rick also didn't play in Waco and has only played this tournament once in the past 3 years. He played last year, finishing tied for 7th. If Rick can start out hot, I could see him winning this weekend. In the 3rd spot is Ezra Robinson. Isaac finished tied for 2nd in Waco despite a relatively slow start. Last year at this tournament, he finished tied for 10th, but the 2 years prior, he finished outside of the top 25. Isaac continues to prove he is the 3rd best player in the world this year, and I expect nothing different from him in Austin this weekend. Also, just want to say the disc coming out of this man's hand live, mind-boggling whoosh. In the 4th spot is Calvin Heimburg. My pick to win Waco finished tied for 13th, so not his best showing of the year, nor his worst. Calvin's got 2 third-place finishes at this tournament, one in 2024 and a tied for in 2023. He got tied for 10th here as well in 2025. If Calvin is on, he's always one of the most dangerous players in the field. And then in the 5th spot is Niklas Anttila. Niklas is the undisputed king of Austin, now winning this tournament the past 2 years. Waco looked like it was his going into the final day, but ultimately he fell just short. He finished his round 3 with a bogey on both 17 and 18 to lose the tournament by 2 strokes. Maybe the close finish will have him extra motivated to complete the extremely difficult feat of a 3-peat. Then moving on to our 6 through 10, starting off with Adam Hammes. Adam has good tournament history in Austin, finishing solo 6th and solo 14th in the past 2 years. He finished tied for 9th in Waco, having a 13 under round 3. Adam plays good in Texas, and as long as he's still on, he is more than likely to be in contention. In the 7th spot is Sullivan Tipton. Sully also didn't play in Waco and has only played this tournament once in the past 3 years. He played last year, finishing tied for 7th. He doesn't have a finish outside of the top 21 this year, and I don't expect that to change this weekend. In the 8th spot is Casey White. Casey was registered for Waco, but his name disappeared right before it started. He doesn't have the best tournament history out here in the past 3 years, as he hasn't had a top 30 finish here yet. Casey has been red hot with 3 of his last 4 finishes finishing in the top 10. Wouldn't shock me at all to see Casey get a new best finish out here. In the 9th spot is Anthony Barela. AB is finally in the Disc Golf Pro Tour top 10 where he rightfully belongs. He has 2 top 5 finishes out here in the past 2 years, 2025 finishing solo 5th, and in 2024 finishing tied for 4th. Another one of those extremely dangerous players who could break out and win any tournament. And finally, in the 10th spot is Chris Dickerson. Chris has been playing extremely clean and consistent this year. He has a great tournament history with 3 top 20 finishes in the past 3 years. Feels like a safe pick for another top 20 this weekend. Now I want to give y'all some horses for courses. These are players outside of the top 10 that I'm watching, starting off with the obvious one, Kyle Klein. This has almost been as much of Kyle's tournament as it has been Niklas. He has finished solo 2nd in back-to-back years, following just shy of Anttila in both years. Kyle has had an up and down year, so be careful, but he could really win it this weekend. Next, I've got Ezra Robinson. Yes, I'm already putting him back in here. Looks like I may have been a bit early on Ezra, as I've got to see some flashes of him live in Waco this past weekend. He ended up finishing tied for 13th and has good tournament history in Austin, finishing 4th here in 2025 and tied for 12th in 2024. Don't know if he's really ready to win one yet this year, but I do believe Ezra is starting to find his groove. And then I have Gavin Babcock. Gavin didn't play in Waco, but finished tied for 7th at the Kansas City Wide Open. I see Gavin trending in the right direction as well. It would not surprise me to see him near the top 10 this weekend. And then moving on to long shots, these are players outside of the Tour Championship cut line, the top 28. First I have Chandler Kramer. Chandler finished tied for 9th in Waco and has one of the prettiest power forehands in the game. He's from Texas and has been playing really well this year, now with 2 top 10s on the year. I could see the Texas A&M Aggie finding success this year in enemy territory. Then I've got Simon Lizotte. Simon has barely finished inside the top 20 once this season. He didn't play in Waco as he's been dealing with some injury concerns. However, he finished 2nd here in 2023, only losing to Gannon, tied for 16th in 2024. If Simon is healthy, I can see him getting his best finish of the year. And then I've got Corey Ellis. Corey has had 2 top 10 finishes out here, a solo 8th in 2024 and a tied for 10th in 2023. He currently ranks 3rd in Circle 1X putting on the year. Watch out for these long shots this weekend. And then since we don't have the flyover, I wanted to give y'all some extra names and some super long shots. These are players outside of the top 50, starting with Mason Ford. Mason hasn't had a great finish this year yet, but finished tied for 12th last year at this tournament and finished tied for 6th back in 2023. Evan Scott is another name I'm looking at. He finished tied for 2nd in Waco, leading the tournament in fairways hit, Circle 1 in regulation, and Circle 2 in regulation. A player that will be looking to carry his momentum into Austin. And then finally, I've got Kevin Jonese. Another player without a great finish this year, but a tied for 14th and tied for 16th finishes in 2025 and 2023 has me looking at the 10-15 rated player. I believe he could definitely outplay his rating again in Austin this weekend. And now let's get into my top 5. These are my top 5 players to watch at the tournament. I've got Gannon Buhr, Niklas Anttila, Ricky Wysocki, Ezra Robinson, and Kyle Klein. Anthony Barela, Calvin Heimburg, and Adam Hammes are all very honorable mentions, but these are the top 3 in the world, mixed with the best tournament history individuals. All of these guys have the talent to win it. These will be my personal top 5 golfers to watch this weekend. And finally, I want to give y'all my winning prediction, and I gotta be honest with y'all, I'm stuck between 2 names. Calvin Heimburg and Adam Hammes. But it's 100% because I got their signatures on their disc this past weekend. And let's be honest, I think Gannon Buhr's gonna win. Gannon currently leads the tour in scramble percentage, and he also leads the tour in circle 1 and regulation percentage, so I think he sets up really well for Sprinkle, and we know he's got the power for Harvey. Gannon could lose 2 in a row this year, but I don't think that's happening this weekend. I hope I'm wrong, as I'd love to buy one of y'all a disc, and remember the rule states you can't pick Gannon. But anything can happen, so kinda will be rooting on Gannon's downfall a little bit, but at the same time, I want to watch this potential historic season he's putting on, so... To watch MVP's Open at Austin, you can catch it live on the Disc Golf Network, or you can catch the first hour of each round free on their YouTube channel. Thank goodness we're back on the Disc Golf Network. In 2 weeks for the OTB Open, I'll have more footage, and I also have a surprise for 2 weeks from now. So make sure you subscribe. It's going to be something kind of cool. So see y'all in 2 weeks.